G'day guys, this is Ed here from Detector, and welcome to the first video of our skill series, Unlocking the Nokta Legend. So the purpose of this video is to give you a massive head start with the legend. You're going to be able to use it straight out of the box. We're also going to lay a solid foundation on metal detecting skills in general. This is going to be the series I wish I had when I started detecting, and it's going to really fast forward you, make sure you build really good habits. You're going to be able to get the most out of any metal detector for the rest of your detecting career. Whether you've used a metal detector before or the Legend's your first one, it's really easy to use. And the first thing we're going to do is just power it up. So when you're powering it up, you're just going to get LD, which means it's loading. Now you're going to see some flickering on screen, but that's not going to normally be there in real life when you're looking at it. It's only through the camera that it looks like it's flickering. Now the default sensitivity is 25, which you can see right there. And that's going to probably be too much for indoors because we've got a lot of interference, as you can hear. So we're just going to press the minus button, reduce that sensitivity down for indoors when we're experimenting so that it's stable and it's quiet like this. So now that you've turned the Legend on and you've reduced the sensitivity for indoors, we're going to pretend that we're out in the field and we're going to choose one of these modes to start so we can start detecting. Now, by default, it's in the park mode, and if you press left or right, you can change between the different modes. So you've got park, field, beach, and goldfields. And I'm going to explain the differences between these now. The park and field modes are really similar, and they're both land modes designed for finding coin and relic sized targets. If you're on land and you're looking for anything man-made, you're going to probably want to use one of these two modes. The difference being that the park mode's better for more suburban areas or areas where there's way more targets and they're way more closely packed together. The field mode is better where there's far fewer targets and they're generally going to be deeper in the ground. That's essentially the difference between those. Otherwise, they're very similar. I wouldn't get too hung up on either. You can use them both interchangeably. Now, the beach mode is actually quite different. So I'm just going to press right a couple times until we're over to the beach mode. The beach mode, the difference is it's actually optimized for use in salt water. Almost all beaches, there's salt water in the sand, and that normally affects the performance of a detector unless you've got a specific beach mode used to cancel out that salt water. Because salt water really annoys detectors, it makes them beep a lot. We want to switch to a beach mode like this to get rid of that annoying beeping that you get from the salt water. Specifically, what you can do is you've got beach dry, so if you're on dry sand, you just press this little frequency button here, and you can go to beach multi-wet mode if you're going to be over wet sand or going in the water with it. And this just applies to salt water. If it's fresh water, any of those three modes will work just fine. Now the goldfields mode is a little bit different again, and it's targeted at finding gold nuggets. Now we're just going to go over to it. It has a bit of a hum you might be able to hear. And basically it's just a super sensitive mode that can find really small targets. And that's really all it's intended for. It uses much higher frequencies. And basically it's really good for finding really small stuff, but you don't normally want to use it in the other situations because it's just too sensitive and you're going to find too much stuff, honestly. You'll find every bit of foil. So those are the four modes explained, and it's really easy to choose just one of those. These two are interchangeable, park and field. If you're anywhere near salt water, use this one. And if you're looking for something really small, generally gold nuggets, you want to use that one. So we've turned the detector on, we've selected which mode we want to use, and now we can just change the sensitivity slightly if needed. Now the default is 25. I've changed it down to 10 just for the purpose of this video because we're indoors. When you're at 25, that's going to be suitable for most of the time unless you're under power lines or something like that. If you are in a situation like that, I'm not going to show you anything in the menus with this video, but just what you can do straight out of the box to start detecting, and that is just reduce the sensitivity slightly. So by default, you're at 25. If you're getting that annoying erratic beeping sound because of interference, just turn the sensitivity down a couple notches and start detecting, guys. So really that's 95% of what you need to know to start detecting on this machine. The next thing is just understanding what you're seeing on screen. So the really important things are you've just got how much battery level you're at. You've got a number on the screen, which is your target ID. When you detect something, a number between 1 and 60 will appear. Anything from 1 to 10 is steal, which you generally want to avoid. Anything from 11 to 60 is not steal. So with a really highly conductive coin like this, you're going to get a really high number. And with a much lower conductive coin like an Australian 20 cent, which is not made out of silver, it's a much lower number. So that's basically your target ID, guys, and you'll start to learn that. But we actually include a target ID chart with the legend from our online store, so you can see what you're going to get before you dig it. It's really useful. So you're ready to go detecting now. You've rocked up the place you want to go detecting. You've put it in the right mode. You might have adjusted your sensitivity. You know what this does. You get a beep, comes up with a number. That's really the function of the detector. Now it's up to you to just swing the detector. So the reality is that swinging the detector is such an underestimated skill. So many people are trying to just buy the most expensive detector and trying to figure out all these settings. The reality is so much performance can be gained by just swinging your detector correctly. And this sounds so ridiculous, but 90% of people detecting are swinging their detector in a way that is not optimal, and they're not getting the most depth because their coil is off the ground. Now, if you watch YouTube videos or you see people detecting in real life, you're going to see a lot of this. Some of it's very extreme. Some of it's only a couple of inches, but the difference between a metal detector around $1,000 for this machine, or one that's maybe $2,000 or $2,500 is often only an inch. Now, if you're lifting your metal detector's coil more than an inch off the ground, you are losing the entire $1,000 advantage that you just paid for. A lot of people, if they're just swinging even an entry-level detector and keeping their coil planted, they're probably getting more depth than someone paying 10 times the price if they're not swinging their detector correctly. So don't worry about settings, don't get hung up on that. As long as you're in the right mode, you've got your sensitivity set pretty correctly. You know what this target ID thing is in the middle. You just got to keep that coil planted and moving, and that is going to give you an advantage over literally 90% of the people I see detecting. You're going to be able to find things that they've missed and get much better performance out of your detector. We see so many people being held back because they're missing these fundamentals, and that's why we went back to basics today. In the upcoming videos, we're going to be diving deeper into the settings so you can work your way to fully unlocking the Legend metal detector. If you'd like to see those videos, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.